Hello and welcome to Effervescent, where we embrace a full circle approach to health. If you are new here, we always do a mindful breath first. And if you're not new here, then welcome back. Kinley, take it away.
Okay, so since we're approaching the holidays, we're going to do a breath work that you can do during the holidays. You can do during family gatherings. And yeah, so for this breath work, it's really quick. Just put your feet on the ground. I want this one to be something you can do literally while you're sitting at the dinner table with everyone. So if you can, reach your feet to the ground. If you're driving, that's okay. Just become aware of the weight of your body, whether it's in your chair or in your feet. And then you can do this with your eyes open or closed. Totally personal preference. I like to close my eyes just to focus, but if you're at a family dinner and you don't want people to know that you're doing this, then keep your eyes open. And just start with finding your normal breath. Noticing how it's been moving in and out of your body or the lack thereof. And just start to take a couple more mindful breaths. Now, inhales are for energizing and building fire and building energy, where exhales are for calming the body and calming the nervous system. So go ahead and inhale for 2 seconds. 1, 2. Hold just for a second. And then exhale for 6. 1, 2. I'm not going to count because I want you to listen to your body. But when you reach the bottom, you're going to take a big inhale for 2. And then exhale for 6. And as you exhale, think to yourself, I am calm, I am grounded, I am present. And then big inhale for 2. Make sure you get enough oxygen. And try to inhale into the belly, not the shoulders. And then exhale for 6. I am calm, I am grounded, I am present. Let's do it one more time. Big inhale for 2 into the tummy. And then exhale, let your weight fall down for 6 counts. I am calm, I am grounded, I am present. And then when you're ready, keep breathing, but go ahead and flood your eyes open if they're closed, and let's get into this holiday-esque episode.
Perfect. Honestly, I kind of forgot I was here for a second.
Good. That's good.
Okay, so yeah, as Kinley said, we are talking all things holidays, especially when it comes to food. And as soon as we were talking about doing this episode, I was like, this is a perfect episode. So many people worry about this, so many people talk about this. And I have even remembered in the past looking up episodes or videos like this in the past of like tips and tricks on what do I do about food? How can I think about it? What are some ways that I can just make it more enjoyable experience? Because if you have ever been on like a fitness journey, or you're in your fitness journey as of right now, or you're trying to start, I feel like there's one of two things that happen. One is you're like, oh, I'll just wait till the holidays are over and then I'll start. Another thing that happens is a lot of anxiety starts to build throughout the holidays if you've already been quote unquote, good on your fitness journey. And I felt both. I've done both multiple times in my life, and I know people that have felt this way before, but I just want to talk maybe a little bit about my experiences during the holidays. I was trying to think about like a specific story, and it's more just the overall feeling that I've had in the past. And I feel like for the listener, I know there's someone out there that's going to relate. So I feel like in the past, there have been a few things that have happened. One, I will get to a family function and I'm like, I'm just going to eat the salad. It's like, let's say it's a huge Thanksgiving dinner and I'm like, oh, I'm going to be really good. I'm going to eat the salad. I'm going to do whatever. And then everybody else is doing all these things and I'm looking at everybody else's plate and I feel like people are looking at my plate, and then I can't even enjoy the conversations that are happening or connecting to myself, let alone other people, because I'm so focused on just like salad. I like salad. There's so many other like things I could say that are like just focusing on these, quote unquote good things versus these bad things. And then I just found myself either one at the end, I was like, I made so much of a fuss over something that was supposed to be so enjoyable. Or the other thing that would happen is it would be like all or nothing, where then I would start eating the dessert or the whatever, and then it would be not only like I just had it and I was happy of the experience of like the yummy desserts that the aunts and uncles made or whatever, but it flipped into a scarcity of, oh my gosh, now I need to eat every single thing there, even though I'm uncomfortably full.
I can actually really relate with you, because I was going to say, I thought you were only going to speak to, like, you go to family gatherings and you're thinking about the salad. I'm the opposite. I'm like, half the reason I go is for the food.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I'm like, scarcity mindset of like, oh my gosh, these are the best rolls and the best mashed potatoes, and I have to eat every single thing. Like, but I've also swung, because there were also years where I went, and if I felt food in my tummy, I felt like I had to go exercise after. So holidays are interesting. I feel like it just brings up a lot of everything, family dynamics, but also like dynamics within ourselves about how we feel about ourselves. So
Yeah.
this is a good topic.
Yeah. No, I feel like, I don't know. There's just a lot of, it's a lot of energy. And I feel like we've talked about this in previous episodes, and maybe I'll take a note to myself to like leave them up here, about how it's really hard to lose your own energy and your own self, especially when you're around so many other people. And I feel like one of the main things that, and this is just my opinion. Obviously, this is my opinion. I think that stress and being around everyone and all these things, stress of the holidays, actually causes most of the, let's say, like overeating or the overindulgence. And it's not necessarily just like, oh no, I really like what my aunt makes every Christmas, so I have to try it, or the rolls or whatever. It's like
Emotional eating.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like so much of the holidays, at least for me, but I feel like this would be bigger than me, is the emotions behind eating everything, because there is so much stress about like Christmas and like getting everyone together, and everyone is together, and like what are the energies around it. And
also some people just don't cook. And so they're like,
Yeah.
this is a good meal. Like, I want to enjoy this good meal,
Yeah. What do you think, Mom?
Well, I'm kind of sitting here like, is this the first time I push back on both of you a little bit?
Do it.
Like,
It's not the first, though. Let me say that.
that's true. I honestly don't have a lot of issues around food and holidays, because and maybe that is the issue. I don't know. But for me, I'm like,
It doesn't have to be.
it's Christmas, I'm going to eat what I want. It's
Yeah.
Easter, I'm going to eat what I want. And then I think it's more like where I struggle is then the reset afterward, because I'm fine to do, I don't even really think about it when I'm celebrating and with family. My thing is like, oh, I had Christmas and I can keep having Christmas and eating candy for a month.
Yeah.
Instead of like, okay, Christmas is over and the reset. Like my challenge is to reset quicker, because I think if you have even a week of like Christmas celebrating and holiday and not thinking about it, and you're like, and I'm back on the schedule now, then I've always felt pretty good about that. I don't typically show up and look at each other's plates and that stuff you're talking about. I haven't really had that struggle. Me, it's kind of all or nothing, where it's like, well, it's Easter, so there's cute Easter candy for a month and now it's still on sale. And like, it's more the reset after I'm done with the holiday that I want to focus on.
I feel like this is like how we all handle it differently.
Yeah.
Because like to some, they're like, you know what, it's Christmas, I'm not going to think about it, but I'm going to reset. And then to others, it's like, I want to stay in my same, like, do my best through the holidays. And I feel like I fall more on the 80-20 of like, it's Christmas, I'm going to eat, but I don't want to have to reset, because that's harder for me. And so I try to like really listen to my body through the whole thing.
That's kind of would be my pushback here, if I'm pushing back on your pushback, is I've done both, and I'm sure, it's not just me, but I think, at least for me, something I struggle with in the past. I feel like I do have a healthier mindset when it comes to this for me, is thinking I have to reset. Because I feel like, it's the whole thing versus a diet, you're going on a diet, versus it's a lifestyle change. And I do think there's such a difference between, if you can practice like tuning into yourself and what actually makes you feel good and what candy makes you feel like crap, and so, and like actually tuning into those things, then you won't need such a hard reset. Because that is what I struggle with too, is like the all or nothing, but it is healthy to not think about it every second of every day of like, I need to. I think this comes down to truly mindfulness and listening to yourself and listening to your body and
what works for you.
yeah.
Because I feel like some people are made for long distance and some people are made for sprints. And so the reset works for you and the more long distance works for you. Like, I don't feel like there's a one size fits all.
For me, where I did that, like that analogy for me stopped working is when there's always something, meaning
That's true. That's true.
meaning like it used to be when I was younger and the only time I really like spent money on extra food and stuff was holidays. Like growing up, we never got any candy unless it was like Christmas Eve, Easter the day, you know, or Valentine's. That's how I grew up. And then it's like, and then even with you guys, I didn't keep a ton of candy or treats around ever, like really growing up. But the more often we started having the means to just go out and do fun things like that had more candy around, then it was like, oh, then you need to reset every weekend. And then there's always something. And then that reset mentality kind of didn't really work anymore for me. But overall, I think that when I overthink about food in general, then it's almost worse for me, where if I just busy my mind doing something else, then I don't fixate on the food as much. And I tend to do better that way. I actually eat better when I don't think about it too much.
I was going to ask, do you feel like you like will unconsciously eat when you don't think about it? Or do you feel like it's a not think about it, more just it's not like blaring in your face?
I don't really I'm not really a snacker, but my thing that gets me is like celebrations.
Yeah.
So if I'm always at a celebration and I'm always doing something fun, then I will just eat to eat because I'm always doing something.
That's also in our society too.
Yeah.
Every celebration has food.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's the hard part.
That is, and that's something I have at least kind of, I mean, for lack of a better word, I'm not actually annoyed of it, but I've gotten I realized that a while ago, and like started getting annoyed because I was just like, is there nothing else we can try and do together? Even with friends and stuff, it's like, oh, we only go out to eat. Or as a date, it's only eating, you know? And it kind of seemed like it, but I don't know. It's not like I actually am annoyed of that. I just absolutely noticed that. And something that has really helped me is even asking friends to like go on a walk or something. Yeah. And I think the default is just to eat together because it's fun, of course. Yeah. Like, and I love it. Like, I love holiday celebrations and whatnot. But there is actually something to both of your guys' points that I've wanted to bring up as almost advice or a thought that I've heard. I wish I could say it like verbatim of how this guy explained it, but I won't be able to. I'll just explain the thought. So essentially, if you think about how many true holidays there actually are versus how many other days of the week there are in the year, it's actually like a 90-10% split. So let's say you were consistent on the 90, then it's like, yeah, you won't even, I mean, your body's not just going to gain 20 pounds in like these beautiful holidays that you should celebrate with your family. So that's always what I like. That's what I liked to focus on and think about once I heard that thought is like, oh, if you really think about it, but I do have what you were talking about is like, oh, I think everything's a celebration to like, it's like,
we celebrate a lot.
Yeah. It's like, oh, Cheesecake Factory again. Yes. You know, and then I really do have to hone in on, okay, if this is a regular occurrence, then that's different. And I just view that as like different, or I want to view that as different, as more of like the lifestyle versus it's Christmas. Mm-hmm. It's Christmas Eve, the day of like, who cares if you were consistent every other day of the week? And I mean consistent pretty loosely, just like active and treating your body right and
mindful,
especially like eating protein, whatever. Like
you can also like mindfully eat a chocolate bar.
Yes.
And like, you're gonna be aware that, oh, maybe I don't want the whole chocolate bar.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's actually something I've super noticed with this thought is this is actually getting really into almost intuitive eating land and all, like there's 10 steps to it and stuff. I've wanted to talk about this in another episode, but the thought with that, or I've realized two things, and maybe this is a good question to ask you guys if you've realized this too. I have realized that of the times that I've eaten the desserts and stuff just because they were there and I didn't actually want it, but I just like ate it because it was there and it was like kind of the scarcity thing, but it wasn't like I was wanting it. I felt like crap. And even afterwards, I was like, ugh, like I really didn't need that. But there were other times, and this is what I've learned with some of the intuitive eating steps is if you truly hone in on your hunger and fullness cues as well as your satisfaction rate, that's what they call it. And you are sitting there and you were like, nothing else right now in this moment sounds as good as this oatmeal chocolate chip cookie. That's like one of my favorite desserts. Like nothing else in the world sounds this good. Then you will eat that and you will feel like I've never felt bad once I've actually checked in with myself to be like, oh no, yeah, that actually sounds good. Like that'll hit the spot. And not only that, but when I've really practiced it, I've noticed that if I give myself those, it's almost like the non-rules of that, then I actually want like the treats less because most of the time I'm like, oh yeah, it kind of makes my stomach hurt. Why would I eat like tons of ice cream? Because I actually don't want it, and it's tuning into what actually feels good. But have you guys noticed that at all? Or like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's been times when I'm like, I really want X, whatever it is. For me, I like love burnt almond fudge ice cream. And then I'm like, oh, I know that makes me sick, so I'm not going to eat it. But then I eat 3 other things because I'm just like trying to fill that, like for whatever reason I'm craving that.
I've totally done
where
that.
I could have just eaten like a little bit of the burnt almond fudge and been completely satisfied.
Totally.
Which is kind of interesting. The other, I don't want to change the subject, but so yeah, have you felt what she's talking about?
I have. I actually am pretty aware of myself to the point where I've noticed that when I make a plate of food, I will put the thing I want on it, but I will eat everything else first and then the thing I want. And by the time I get to the thing I want, it's like I'm more full and I don't even get to enjoy it. And so I'm like, why do I do that? Why don't I let myself just eat the thing? And so I've been practicing actually. Even like healthy things.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like I had to eat all the things I didn't want before I could eat the thing I wanted. And so now I'm like, I'm eating the mashed potatoes first.
Yeah.
And then I'll eat the other things.
Yeah. Isn't that, I mean, there's a lot, I even did like a whole YouTube video on this. There's a lot I could talk to about the intuitive eating land as a whole. And if the listener doesn't know about intuitive eating, it's almost like the opposite of what you would think diet and diet culture is. It's just tuning into your body and being mindful of what you actually want. And for me personally, I feel like especially during the holidays, it's really hard for me to tune into myself. And so then I'm just eating to eat. I'm eating to socialize. I'm eating all the time. But then every time I'm alone, I'm like, I literally was not hungry. Like truly deep down in my soul, it wasn't even like I feel guilty about what I ate. It was like I wasn't even hungry. Like, but I think sorry, just to round this point out, I think with diets, especially if you've gone really extreme in the past, which I had a little bit of that, you actually start to turn off your hunger and fullness cues. So then whatever I put on my plate, I just ate because it was there and I had to eat it even though I was full. And that's what kind of like, I feel like really messed with my rhythm and like tuning into myself. So anyways, bringing this back to holidays, I feel like some of these mindful practices that maybe we can get into will be super good around the holidays to just check into yourself instead of everyone else. Sorry, I went on a ramble. Do you guys have anything to say?
I'm curious what you were going to say too.
Here goes the
Sorry,
age.
Mom.
No, it's okay. Here goes the age thing again. My whole, I guess, way that I learned to eat or manage my health and stuff was fine for all the years until I had my hysterectomy. And then all of a sudden the rules changed because it was like, all of a sudden my body didn't manage like it always had. So I could, even after having 5 babies and still feeling like I got to an even playing field and feeling healthy, as long as I was active and eating kind of what felt right and what I wanted, it was stable. And then the hormones and everything changed. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, this is not going to work anymore. And that's when I had to get really more conscientious about like, oh, I'm eating when I'm not even hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do that anymore. Like before, I think my metabolism could kind of handle it as long as it wasn't all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I could even out, but all of a sudden it wasn't like that. You know, you have to be a lot more aware of what makes me sick, what's giving me inflammation, and I know some people deal with that at a younger age, but for me, it really managed pretty well until I had my hysterectomy, but that was at 32. So, yeah, I would say there is something to do with age. And now I do need to be more aware of like, oh, the all or nothing. And now I'm going to reset and that too long to reset. And now there's another party and another thing and another thing, you know.
Do you have something to say? Okay.
Just a quick tip. This is something that I actually do. I haven't done it with food. And so I'm like, wait, this totally would work. But I do it at family gatherings and I do it on dates with my husband, like whenever I feel like I need to check in with myself. But I feel like, you know, when you like are giving and exchanging so much energy, you don't feel like you can like move or get up or do anything. It's like, oh, we're in a conversation. I tell myself to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And I go and I lock the door and I don't even go to the bathroom if I don't need to, but I just sit in the bathroom alone and I'm like, okay, where am I at in this whole situation? But also with food, I'm like, you could also have it be a check-in on your body of like, how are we feeling? We can still eat what's on our plate, but like, we're just pausing for a second.
Yeah, that's actually, I've done this before specifically with food, but I love that you brought it up because I wouldn't have thought to bring this up. One of the other intuitive eating steps is check in halfway through your meal, or at least what you think it is. And so sometimes I'll do that at restaurants if I really am just not feeling in my energy at all, like I don't even know how I'm feeling, like I'll sometimes go to the bathroom and just be like, exactly, I can still eat, it's fine, but what am I even, like, am I feeling hungry still? What am I even feeling? Again, because I feel like I really have to focus on my hunger and fullness cues, or else I'll just keep
and
eating.
overeating's like a thing we all experience. There's actually in The Science of Breath by Yogi, it's not Brahmacharya, it's something, but it's The Science of Breath, whoever wrote that. They talk about how you eat to 1/3 full, and then you drink to 1/3 full, and then you leave 1/3 for a breath.
Interesting.
And so while you're eating, you
I
can
can't
also
breathe.
exactly.
Yeah, that actually
and
makes
have
sense.
you even taken a drink during your meal of water?
Yeah.
And it also echoes in Ayurveda, which is the science to yoga, because Ayurveda is all about how we have all the elements in our body, like fire is digestion, you know. And if you overeat, you're gonna imbalance the elements in your body because it's gonna be so much fire trying to digest that like you lose out on the other elements. And so I always think about it when I'm eating, like, can I still breathe? 1/3? Have I drank any water? It's just like
That's
the thirds.
cool.
Isn't that cool?
I really like that. Yeah. I'll get into more advice and / tips because I was thinking about that, or what I would say, and mine's more like very practical, but I love that. I'm probably going to use that. But some of the things that I feel like have helped me is, one, doing those check-in things. But two is, which I feel like I kind of said this in the beginning in a negative way, so it's funny that I'm bringing up that as advice. So it's a pendulum, you know? It's not like black or white. Something that does help me as a very practical thing is having a little bit of a game plan, and maybe the game plan was before, like, let's say the gathering of any type. And I feel like the game plan in the past was all the restriction things, all of the shame coming into it, like whatever, you know? But now I feel like it's way better where, I mean, maybe you come up with your own plan. I almost don't want to say like exactly what you need to do, but for me personally, maybe this is me personally, I always like to get like some sort of protein in, because protein always makes you like feel satiated and full. It's the most satiating macronutrient. It's also like pretty much the most important. If you haven't heard me talking about that, I will talk about that a lot. But I feel like knowing that I'll just have like some sort of protein on my plate, even if I want to eat whatever else, it's like, okay, you know, the protein's there, whatever. The other thing is the pre-plan is doing some sort of check-in thing. I love that you said like, maybe my plan is to go to the bathroom in between the meal, or maybe my plan is to I don't know. Maybe you guys have
Take a
different.
breath
Yeah.
or do that breath work we did in the beginning. It's like, it doesn't even have to be around food, just having an intention going into it.
Yes. It's honestly, if I think about it, it's regulating your nervous system fully in a way. And so I do like kind of having the practical plan of like, okay, even checking into like what do you want to eat before you see all the food there is actually a good thing too. Because like, you know, all bets are off if you're starving and then you get there and then you're like, I don't even care what it is. I'm just going to want to eat it.
And they have the snack sitting out, so you're just like waiting for the food to be ready.
Yeah. And so I think just having a little bit of a game plan of being like, what would sound really good to me right now? Oh, I know our Nana makes those rolls. For sure I'm going to have one, you know? And but I feel like that's more out of like the abundance of with planning than it is like the restriction, even if it still kind of does the same thing at the end, but it's the energy that changes. But I feel like, do you have something to say, Mama? Okay.
Stop reading my mind.
I feel like I'm like looking at you.
I do when I'm
I'm
ready.
like rambling a lot, so I'm like,
I
please
do when
just
it's my
interrupt
turn,
me.
but I'm not going to
No.
interrupt you. I'm working on this.
Are you good?
Your turn.
Oh, you really want me to
not.
go?
It's okay if you
No,
don't.
I mean, I have something to say, but for me, I think I have to think about, or I choose to think about portion control, because if I think, oh, I want to taste 6 desserts, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
If I just have like a little taste of each. For me, I actually do feel sick if I have too many sweets, and
No, me too.
And if I don't like it, I mean, if I eat so much, it doesn't even taste good anyway. So it's more out of curiosity. I'm like, oh, I want a little taste of that and a little taste of that. And then I feel like, oh, I got to taste everything, but I'm not going to eat like 6 different kind of cookies. I'm just going to have like a little taste of different ones. So portion control. And then with, you know, looking at performance psychology and athletes, it's like, you know, I mean, I know you can be like super strict in that if you're a performance in an Olympic athlete or whatever, you're going to be super strict. But if I look at myself as like a car, and I do a lot because of the curriculum that I wrote with Barbara, it's like, am I going to put, you know, what level of gasoline am I going to put in my car? Or am I going to accidentally put diesel and screw up the whole engine? Or am I not even going to fill up the gas, you know? I think oftentimes like how well would my car run with how I'm maintaining it right now. And sometimes I am running on fumes, like literally. And other times I'm sitting there at the gas pump, just filling it up when the gas is pouring out of the tank.
Yeah.
So I have to visualize it. That helps me kind of like put it in perspective for me.
I love
I
that.
love that too.
I also think, and this is such like a gym girl thing to say, but I do think about this.
That's your whole point.
Yeah, I'm like, I
Bring it.
literally like, if all else fails, what I think at the end of the day is, one, if you live in a colder climate during the winter, it's pretty nice because, you know, you just layer up if you're feeling a little insecure. But 2, what I love is, I mean, the way muscle growth happens is like you want to fuel your car. And so the more fuel you do have, if you're like a lifter, I kind of just view it as like, okay, this week was a little rough in terms of like how much fuel I put into my car. But, and it's not in a bad way, because I know that you've said this before, like I've always felt like I had to go to the gym after I ate. But for me now, I'm like, okay, well, I better put all these extra calories to good use and grow the muscle that I'm wanting to grow. So it's almost like it's like an exciting thing to be like, okay, if I already ate all this like fuel anyways, might as well go like get a really good lift in. And like, and I literally imagine like the little molecules like growing my muscles. Like it's weird, but
Oh, that's good.
I feel like that is, I mean, flipping it on its head is like a positive too, of like, well, if all else fails, it's cold outside, you're with the loved ones. Maybe I'll speak to the audience. If all else fails, it's cold outside, you're with your loved ones, you're connecting. Holidays are all about gratitude and just being
Enjoy the
around each
moment.
other. Yeah, being present. Nothing else matters besides your relationships, and you can always get a good lift in. And
And it's okay to eat the cake. Like,
yeah.
it's okay to eat that food. At the end of the day, it's all energy. Like, the food we consume is energy computed into the body for strength to be able to lift our grandkids or whatever. But even going a layer deeper, food carries energy. And so what food are you putting into your body? Are you putting in your body food that's half of the ingredients are chemicals?
Yeah.
That's going to be a denser energy and going to be harder for your body to process And it's okay. It's okay to put it in. Like, it's up to you, just listening to your body. But like the whole foods,
Yeah.
they are going to have whole living water in them. And water carries memory. I'm going way down a tangent. But it is energy at the end of the day. And this is something Cam and I are really passionate about is
Yeah, we should have Cam on.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a solo podcast, but he could have gone for so long about the food.
Yeah. And he taught me so much about whole living foods and how they literally carry living waters in it. It hasn't been zapped out. It hasn't been pumped with chemicals or gasoline. Like, there's crazy stuff in the
seed
food.
oils. Yeah.
All
the.
But around the holidays, like, just being aware of the energy of the food you're eating and think about like the love that was poured into it.
Yeah.
Is it just a Twinkie you grabbed, or is it like grandma's rolls that you're like, oh, what?
Did you know there's formaldehyde in Twinkies?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm serious about all this.
Yeah, it's
And did you know Bunch of Crunch has
No.
Okay.
I bought you 3 boxes of
And I
Bunch-
looked it up and I never ate a single Bunch of Crunch again.
Oh, I think you told me this, but I mean, the audience is gonna want to
Look
know.
it up
So
what the confectioner's wax is.
yeah, on Bunch Crunch.
It's literally bugs.
yeah.
It's literally bug secretion. But
What?
I know that's so disgusting, but it's also important to talk about because
Yeah, I agree.
we weren't taught that. Like, it's
Nobody
just been
knows.
food.
Yeah.
And we're all so grateful to have food. But like the more knowledge that comes out about the literal gasoline that's in our food, it's insane.
Yeah.
So that was a big tangent. But my whole point was
The
sometimes
intent.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
But sometimes Cam and I will go to family gatherings and we'll bring something to share with everyone, but it's something that we love eating.
That's a good advice tip.
Yeah.
Too.
Because then we're like, you know what? We're still going to make a dessert, but we're going to intentionally make our dessert with something that we would want to eat. And yeah, we'll share it with everyone.
Love
but
that.
it's not always easy, but it's really nice to go and know that like there's food that I want here too. Not like, oh, I can't eat anything. Yeah.
And all like the societal things or not really societal, cultural things where it's like, then if you go and then you don't eat food and then if they're looking at you like, why aren't you eating food? And then, like it's hard. And I think that is where it comes to almost protecting your energy and standing firm in like what you want to do instead of what everyone else wants you to do.
Yeah. I also think that there's like people don't realize, or no, maybe not don't realize, but there's a lot more resources out there for clean food where you can still eat literally everything that's out there. You can eat and you can do it with less additives and it actually tastes good now, where before it was like gluten-free, but it actually can taste really good now.
True. I love that. Love you guys. I actually wanted to say like a really random story if we're wrapping up because this is just funny and I almost just want to tell you, not even whatever. But when I was really practicing intuitive eating, which I kind of want to get back to the practices of it, because I'm like, maybe it wasn't you that said that. Maybe it was Kinley. You guys asked. Whoever asked. I am like where if I think about food too much, then it's like a whole roller coaster of all these things. So I feel like intuitive eating has really been good for me. One time Preston and my husband went on a date and I was really practicing, and the whole thing with intuitive eating is, okay, what would satisfy you, what actually sounds good to you, and just not having any shame around it and whatnot. And so I was like, okay, Preston asked me on a date. We went on a date and then he got dinner because it was dinner time. He got a steak and I saw this like single serving chocolate cake, bundt cake, and I got that for dinner. And I was so happy about it. I actually didn't feel any guilt, any shame because it was like I came into it and I was so in my own energy that I was like, there is nothing else that would make me as happy. And the waitress was like kind of laughing. I mean, she was nice, but she was kind of like laughing because I was like literally eating chocolate cake and ice cream for dinner and he's eating a steak. But
I
was
love
like,
that so much.
it was nice.
I also think like you said you wanted to touch on like looking at everyone's plates. Did we? I feel like we kind of did in the beginning, but she's laughing at you for eating a cake, but it's like that's her own stuff showing up. But it's fine. Eat the freaking cake.
Yeah. And I think there is something to be said about people commenting on food in general.
Yeah, just don't.
Just don't. Like,
don't.
if someone wants to, I mean, or you, it's like if you are looking at other people eating a salad and then all of a sudden you want the salad, but then it's like you actually really wanted this thing, but then you're like, oh, they're eating a salad, I should eat a salad. Or we already talked about this actually in another episode as well. So I know that this would leak into that episode, but
Do you know what that episode is called?
I
Link it.
can't remember. I will have to link it again. I'll like put a note up here for me. I can't remember what it's called, but I'll make sure to put it up there.
Well, sometimes I look at and I've never looked at your plate other than like as a mom, you're like, did my kids eat? You know, I would say like for that reason I would look at, but now I do more, and I'm not even like that because you talk about healthy eating, and I'm like, and I feel like it's a teaching moment
for sure.
And so, but I can see why that would be pressure for you because it's like now Brighton's showing up as this health person, and I'm like, oh, how would she do it? So it's kind of a real life. Not testing ground, but like it's like I get to walk into Thanksgiving and be like, cool, what would Brighton choose here? In the way of like, oh, I could learn from this, you know, and I don't even overly think about this honestly, but I know but that thought's gone through my head before of like, oh, Brighton's so good at this, what would she choose?
That makes sense though.
But in a teaching kind of healthy way of like, I'm proud of you and I learned from you. So
I think it's more like, I think that's actually a good thing. Like if you, I mean, maybe the listener too, like if you know someone that just maybe knows, you know, more about nutrition, or like someone like a Cam or a Kinley that like knows more about the food and you want to learn. I've done the same thing with Cam and Kinley. Like, I actually have a funny memory, but I'll save that for after.
Why?
Really?
Just say it. This is for you, listener. I'm putting myself on the spot for you.
It's actually with Cam, so I'm like, I hope he's probably fine. It's nothing to do with like really him, but I was like, so I mean, they're very knowledgeable, obviously, especially with when it comes to processed foods, which that was a venture that I wanted to like learn about more. And so we were at the movies, and you guys had actually brought your own homemade popcorn, which is really cool. I was like, you know, do it. And I was getting, I think it was either Sprite Zero or Diet Coke or like something like that. And I was like filling it up, and Cam was right next to me, and I was like, so why don't you like diet soda or aspartame or something like that? And he's like, well, it makes lesions in your brain. And I was like, I literally just grabbed it. Still drank it, but I was like,
the whole movie.
I'm just pretending I did not hear that. But it was freaking funny.
And like, that's so funny. And props to you for making homemade popcorn and bring it to the movie theater. I order movie theater popcorn and deliver it to my home.
Yeah, but movie theater popcorn is my favorite thing. And
sometimes I eat that. I had it last night for dinner.
And I think that's what I was trying to get. But I think that's what I was where I was going with it, is like, there are things that I love. And movie theater popcorn, that was one I actually just kept eating because I didn't care. I was like 80-20. That is one that I freaking love and I'm not letting go of. And then I learned to make homemade popcorn, and it's literally tastes better to me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm apparently pregnant walking into the theater so that I can bring my own bag of popcorn. And then an Olipop. Like, there are ways to do it. Yeah. But also, it's okay to drink the Diet Coke if that's like your 80-20 and that makes you so happy. And you want lesions in your brain.
Yeah, I was like,
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I was just gonna pretend I didn't hear that. I literally was like, nice.
Like, never mind.
Yeah. No, it's funny. Oh my gosh, you guys, thank you, and thank you for traveling with me on this journey of an episode. I know that the holidays are really interesting, and there's so many ways we could talk about this, but I feel like we've talked about everything, unless you guys have closing advice or anything.
I just want to say to the listener, good job for clicking on the episode, and I'm sure you're prepping for the holidays yourself, and so for you to be proactive and be like, you know what, I'm going to look for a resource to help me through this. Hopefully something we said helped you, but I'm really glad that you're here and that you listened, and if all else fails, if it all goes south, we've got you. Just let us know. We'll do an episode on it. Oh, yeah.
We have a freebie.
Oh, yeah, we do.
A new freebie, and this is really intentional for especially holidays, but, you know, whatever. We'll have it for a little bit. It's called the Energy Map. It's kind of like a worksheet, and it's for basically you fill it out to figure out where your energy is going right now, and then where you actually want your energy to go in, you know, the future. And it's really cool. I've done kind of an exercise like this before. My mom is the one that's going to put it together, or did put it together. And so we will link it in the description box below.
And it's a cool time of year to do it. Honestly, the past probably at least 3 to 5 years, I prep for New Year's more in the way of like, it's coming. And if you start thinking about assessing, I would say in November and December, of like, where's my energy going? What do I want the new year to look like? Then when it comes, it's not like January 1st, all of a sudden you're trying to get your brain there. You're kind of like leading up to it in a way. So I think this freebie is cool because it'll help you kind of reflect and not to feel shame about where you are, but like, okay, this is, I'm assessing it. This is kind of where it's at.
It's like
and
a
I'm
bird's eye
excited.
view.
I'm
Yeah.
getting ready. It's kind of building that energy for when you want to start shifting things for the new year.
Yeah.
And we have an episode coming out about how to make a vision board. And if you're doing this prior, learning where you're leaking energy, then it's just going to only help you be like, hey, what are my intentions going into the next year? What is going to help me the very most? And it will help you when the vision board episode does come out, which is very soon.
Love that. Love that. Well, yeah, I think that's it. Happy holidays, you guys. And until next time. Bye.